How you doing, Rich?
Good morning. Welcome to the Mancunian Way. Martin is having his usual internet problems, or he's on his way back from Costa Coffee, not sure which, but he will be joining us in about 2 minutes. So I'm just joined here by Ed. Welcome.
Big up, Rich. Big up the chat. Back again.
Yeah, and this is if anyone who remembers a comedy called Bottom, which was after the Young Ones in the 90s, the two main protagonists were Richie and Eddie. So I think this could be a bit of comedy this morning to lighten the mood after a bit of a shocking weekend. So Ed, now you've had time to take a few deep breaths, calm down, and maybe rewatch the game or look back at the game with slightly more calm eyes. How are you feeling this morning or this evening in the US?
I'm feeling good, man. I hope you're feeling well, Rich.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling quite calm. I think after a bit of annoyance with the game, in a game that we were, I thought, out muscled and out coached really by a team that looked like they were a lot further into the season than we were, a lot more organised, looked a bit fitter and stronger and more on it than we were. I think, after I sat down, I think it's a bit like getting too carried away after the Wolves game with joy and people talking about quads and stuff. And then, exactly the same happened in reverse against Spurs, where I think, there was some things there. And I guess my feeling is, and I'm not sure about you, is that, we're trying to rebuild a team. That was the youngest 11 we've put out in the Premier League for, I think, 15 years. I think it was the 9-10 season we last put out a younger 11 in a Premier League game. A new midfield, new defence, pretty much a new attack as well, and a new keeper. I just get the feeling it's going to take us a bit longer this season, that we probably needed a couple of months pre-season, and now I think we're going to take, it's going to be a few up and downs for a few months whilst Pep finds what the 11 is, whilst the players settle into playing their roles and settle into the team. So I think we're going to have some great results, but I think we're probably also going to have a few little shockers like that. So, I mean, how are you feeling about the actual match now? Now things have settled.
Nah, Rich, that game. You know what that game reminded me of? Reminded me of this favorite person that said, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face,"
Yeah,
and that's what happened to us, man. Yesterday, they taught them this out physical us. Um, they their work rate was better than us. They just wanted it more. I think that was kind of the most disappointing thing on the night. Um, and that comes with having a young team who might not be used to that type of atmosphere, used to that type of physicality, and it showed at times. You know, but I think there's a lot of learning lessons we can get from the match, especially when it comes to our midfield and how we handle the press in the midfield. Um, so yeah, I think there's a lot of learning lessons.
yeah. And do you think a lot of that was down to? I think I read after the game that was the tenth game Spurs have played this
Yeah,
season. They had, I think, 6 or 7 preseason games, and
yeah,
obviously they had that glorified friendly against PSG. Do you think they looked a lot fitter? Do you think that was part of it, that they were actually better conditioned than the City players were?
yeah. I mean, that does. I think that is a factor because you could just see it, just how like they were just quick tempo and they were able to keep and sustain that for long periods of the game. And I think we did well the first 15, 20 minutes. I think losing Nori that early on, who can be an outlet for us, is really good on the ball, can invert and help out the midfield as well. I think that was a loss for us, because you get the opposite when you bring on an Ake, right?
Yeah,
Um, but still, I think, yeah, I agree with you on that, but I think it still lacked the fight, like the bite between your teeth at times too.
yeah. I mean, they looked a bigger side than us actually. I mean, it was interesting. Yeah, and I guess if I think who are our, you know, hardest, most physical players, obviously Rodri, and he came on. Guardiol's, a real muscular defender for us. So I think, we definitely saw, a team that looked a bit bigger than us physically. And it did also feel that, I know everyone says we want to get rid of the experience. It felt felt a little bit like without any of those, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo, Kovacic, etc. players. I felt we lacked a little bit of experience and leadership to me, as well, to get a grip of us and to say talk. But at the end of the day, they really stopped us getting the ball out from the back incredibly effectively. I think they had a game plan that
Yeah,
focused on the uncertainty we'd have with the new keeper, um, and they really smothered us at the back. I think what showed the most for me was that Turkey seemed to be playing as a spare centre back for large chunks of the game. Every time I saw Turkey with the ball, it was on our penalty area, and that's well. Firstly, it belies the story that he'll never track back and that he won't do any work, because he was playing right back at times. He was playing centre. It was bizarre, but he's not a player who's designed to be playing there. And Haaland was coming back. I think quite a bit of time in the you know second part of the first half. Haaland was back as well at the back, and it just felt like we almost lost so much confidence in our ability to get the ball out for the back that the whole team had swept back. And it must have been quite hard for some fans without Akanji and Gundogan to blame for everything, because we've made all the changes, and it, it showed that there's to make all those changes. You can't just bring new players in and chuck them in and they're going to instantly be better. It takes a bit of work. Players are going to take time to get used to playing that way. And why was the press effective for me? Because we aren't yet we aren't yet up to speed and passing as crisply and confidently and everything as we can. And if you are not absolutely on it, and knowing what pass you're going to do and executing it perfectly, in fractions of a second, which is what ultimately it takes, which is what City in the Centurion season, in the treble season, what we were able to do. We're not able to do that now because the players aren't used to it. We're not confident enough. Maybe we're not fully fit and ready, and that just showed because we just looked like we were struggling to get the ball away from our own box, and because we don't want to hoof it, and often there was no point hoofing it anyway because Haaland and Cherky were back, defending, and that's a bit of a problem. So I think that's going to be, I think they'll be all getting double rondo time on Monday, but that's something we've got to rectify because every side can do that. Well, most sides in the Premier League could do that to us. Brighton could do that to us with the players they've got. And, a lot of the teams down the bottom could do that. So we really need to get that snap back into the game pretty quick.
Yeah, I agree with you a lot of points. I just felt that also it kind of just showed Nico G's kind of like limitations at time too, just because I didn't think he had a really good game.
Do you know,
Um,
I actually thought he was better than Reinders.
oh,
I
Ryan
thought
was terrible.
I thought of the three midfielders, I thought Nico G probably had the best game. I thought, I mean, it's hard to judge Cherky because Cherky's, in a very attacking number 10 and he was playing auxiliary centre
Yeah.
back. But I actually thought, Nico G didn't have a great game, but I would have said he had a better game than the two midfielders with him.
Uh, My whole thing was just because you know how the way we play, Rich. Our six is really the focal point in how we do break a press.
Yeah,
So if he's not able to be back to the opposition and to receive the ball and maybe pass it to the left, pass it to the right, just to get us up the pitch, we can get where when we're stuck in our own penalty box at times because we don't have that outlet unless we do
yeah,
lift the ball up. So that's kind of where I'm looking at it because with Wolves, they pressed us, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't man to man, and you had to, create some space and receive the ball underneath pressure, or you have like a Paulinho on top of you to tackle away the
yeah.
ball, right? So, I mean, it was just a test for us, and that's why I said, like, I think Pep recognized that too. I think the players, I think what Ake's statement, he was like, we kind of weren't ready for that at this time. So I think they're going to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, no, and I suspect they also weren't ready, in the fitness and the speed and the crispness of the passing. I think that showed, and I think to be fair to Nico G, half the time the players couldn't get it out to him, or they were, like the goal and passing, that that was probably the most comical goal that we scored in the Premier League all season, but at the end of the day, that pass could have been on if Trafford had passed it to the right side of the player. You know, it could have been a very quick 1-2 and moved the ball, but it's to the wrong side. And I just felt that no one in the team was passing well and crisply, and
Yeah.
very often the reason it fell down, if we're at our best, the pass is perfect, it's inch perfect, and the player is moving on very quickly. And if you can do that and you break a one-on-one press like that, you've got a lot of space because
Yeah.
once you've got past your man. But I just felt our passing wasn't good enough. If the pass needed to be the left of the player, it was to the right of the player. Passes were to the weaker foot. The movement, when someone got the pass, the movement wasn't necessarily perfect for them to be there. So it just looked laboured, and that was that was everyone. I don't think there was anyone. To me, I mean,
Yeah. But to your point, Rich, right? Like I think it does speak to what Bernardo does bring to this team in that role in that midfield, especially when you have a young player like Nico G in the six at times. Is
yeah,
that player to drop deep, to help him out at times, give him an easy pass, to take the pressure off of him. And I think that's what we did miss because, Reinders is still like an offensive minded midfielder as well.
Yeah, well,
Um,
the other thing, missed and thing with Edison missed is that ultimately, had Edison been playing, and we'll miss this whether our goalkeepers,
but
Ortega, Donnarumma, Trafford, anyone, because it's something only Edison could do. Edison could ping some perfect balls up, and ultimately, if a team's going 1-on-1 and they go 1-on-1 with Haaland, and Edison can pop a ball up in the right place, that gives City an outlet that we don't necessarily have without Edison. So I mean, I think that's one thing, and we're going to have to learn to play without that if Edison goes, because it doesn't matter who we go out and sign. We could sign Diogo Costa, we could sign, just about any goalkeeper in the world, and none of them can ping a ball onto a player's foot from like 70 meters like Edison can, and that's just that's something we're going to have to accept. And I think one thing that for the those wanting Donnarumma, I think one thing that will be seen is that the drop down with feet from Trafford or Ortega to Donnarumma is not anywhere near as big as the drop down from Edison. So, there'll be if Edison goes, I think there'll be a lot less worry about changing the style of keeper that we play.
But Rich, let me ask you this. I'm not gonna talk too bad about Trafford because we know what Trafford is. He's a young player. Do you think that was probably one of the biggest matches he was in?
Oh yeah, I mean, no question. I mean, he played some huge games in championship terms to try and win a title for Burnley. He played some relegation games, but so perhaps they're more important. But in terms of the size of the crowd, in terms of the the quality of the players, yeah, undoubtedly that'll be one of probably the hardest game he's played in, and tough game to to be asked to play. And I think what we have to realise is no matter what happens with Trafford is he's not Edison. And if we haven't got Edison, we are going to have to change, our expectations of everything. And Pep's going to have to change his expectations about how we build up play. Because we see the drop with Ortega, and Ortega has been doing that for years and was signed absolutely as the closest thing we could get to Edison to back him up. And we see the drop off there. So it's going to be interesting to see. But this week, I suspect Pep's either going to tell Edison, you're not going, or don't care what they offer you, or they're going to sign, you assume, Donnarumma, because I don't think we're going to want to go into the season putting that much pressure on Trafford. I mean, I don't think that would be good for Trafford necessarily, and I don't think it would be good for City necessarily if we're forced to, put him under that pressure, and we're forcing him to be the one who rebuilds how we play.
Good evening. Apologies, I'm not on camera. I'm having issues with camera at the moment. Hopefully, it will come on soon. I'm reinstalling my camera app and I put it back in. So I am here. Right. I'm just listening, guys, because I'm wondering which way to go with this. Because all the pep outers are back out again. All the agendas are now back on the plate and blah, blah, blah. I do question people's knowledge of football sometimes. I do, and I don't mean to be rude. But I do question it when I hear nothing's changed. We played the exact same way we did last season.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, we didn't. We didn't play anywhere near with the way we played last season. Just because we set up in a similar fashion does not mean the tactics are the same. Tactics are not just formations. They're a lot deeper than just formations. But sadly, some people just look at formations and that's it. I mean, I've even heard today is we played slow. Maybe they watched a rerun of last season's game. I don't know, because the last thing we were was slow. I don't know where any part of yesterday was slow.
It just wasn't clean. I think, it was a totally different way of playing. I think we just didn't. I think we just weren't clean. We weren't. The passes were going 50 centimeters a meter from where they should have been. They were going, 0.2 of a second rate. They should have been
because we were
not ready.
Passes in at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, but
we're get the ball from back to front within 10 seconds.
Yeah, and we're not ready. We're not as ready for the season as Spurs. It was pretty clear to me that they were more organised, and they played. That's their 10th game. It was pretty clear to me they were more organised. They were a bit fitter, and they were just a bit more on it. They were just a little bit better in their timing and everything else. And anyone who knows anything about a team sport or business or running a country or whatever, it takes quite a lot of time to change. To change a generation, to change the way you play, to do things differently. Takes time. You have to make mistakes as you do it. And look back at Paris last season until Jack Grealish scored. They'd been pretty average all season. What they've been trying to do hadn't quite worked. They're in the French league, so they're still going all right in the league, but they were not great. They hadn't been great in Europe. They hadn't been great in the league. And 4 or 5 months into really trying to do something with this new generation of players, they clicked. And from that moment Grealish scored and they came back and they got 2 pretty quick goals, they barely looked back all season. They were, pretty much until the Chelsea game, pretty much unbeaten and, absolute quality. But we're going to have to accept the same. If we want to change the way we play, we want to build a new Centurions, a new generation of team. We want to get rid of the unks and play new players. We want to change the slow build-up to go fast. That doesn't just happen overnight. That is a lot of hard work on the training pitch, a lot of hard work in games. It's going to be some players will get found out and won't necessarily make it. Some players are going to have to learn to play a slightly different way. And we've got to be patient on that. There's no point in us spending the next 3 months, everyone's saying we need to change, and then whinging, whenever everything isn't perfect, because it cannot be perfect. It's going to be tough, and we're going to look bad a few times.
Right, hang on. Am I on? Oh, I'm on. Right, lovely. Awesome. Try it. Right, okay, good evening. Sorry about that. Right, I'm going to get into it. Yesterday. Now, the starting 11. We all know what the starting 11 was. If anyone does not know, I shall go through it with everyone. As you know, Trafford in net, Rico Lewis, John Stones, Ruben Diaz, Ait-Nouri, Nico Gonzalez, Oscar Bob, Ryan Cherka, Reinders, Mamouche Haaland. On the bench, Ake, Doku, Foden, Rodri, Kushner, Bernardo Silva, Nunes, O'Reilly, Edison. Now, I will go back to 2:30 yesterday. Sorry, no, 11:30. Everyone was, a lot of people, I won't say everyone, a lot of people were very happy with that 11. It was exciting. It's very attacking. It's exactly what we've been asking for. No uncles, blah, blah, blah. Yep. Oh, just let everyone know, Akanji and Gundogan were not even included in the match day squad. Yeah. Then...
Sure, it was their fault we lost. Must have been. Everything's Akanji.
No, apparently it's Pep's fault now. No.
Yeah.
We'll go into it. I have no problem with people analysing yesterday's game as poor. I thought it was poor for another reason. I thought Pep made a mistake. Yes, I did. But we've now gone to baby out with the bathwater now. Today we're questioning Diaz's contract, Rico's contract, and blaming Pep for that. That was the board and Viana who gave out the contracts.
Yeah, but Rico was the best player in the world last.
Rico was the best player in the world last week, and when he didn't go to Nottingham Forest, everyone was jumping around like, you know, Rico Lewis is signed, great. Now all of a sudden he's back to being crap again. Ruben Diaz signs a contract. Most people were happy about that. We can't be doing it. This is becoming flip-flop FC now. Was we poor? 1,000%. I think we're poor. I think we were completely different from last season. That was our youngest team we played in 15 years. The youngest 11 we played in 15 years. I'm going to be straight with you. It actually looked like it as well. Watched it back today. It looked like it. It looked like the youngest team we played. But because we've demanded anyone who's 29 and over out the squad, we don't want it. Now, here's my problem. We brought in Pep Linders, whose philosophy at Liverpool, and I will come to the comments, I promise you. Philosophy at Liverpool was get the ball back to front quick, lightning speed. Our team is not used to that, a lot of them, because they've played under this controlled football for so long. So there will be times where I personally think it will look brilliant. And I think there's times, depending on the opposition, it will look a bit of a shit show. And yesterday was the shit show. I want to give Spurs credit because I thought they played very, very well. They closed this down excellently. Thomas Frank always does that. Even I underestimated Thomas Frank on Friday. And I am quite godly. Well, I'll stick my hand up. I was wrong on him. He did his tactics perfectly. He did his to a T. But for me, and this is where I think we've gone, there was no balance yesterday. We've gone A to Z for me. We've gone from having one of the oldest 11s to one of the youngest, from playing slow, controlled football to get the ball back to front in 10 seconds. We were taking more risks than we ever do before normally yesterday. People going about playing out from the back. We never played out from the back like that under Edison. We've never done that. We were never playing 2-yard passes.
No.
To James Trafford, already under pressure. We were never doing that. And then just lumping the ball forward to try and get there. The amount of times the ball just got punted up to Mamouche and Cherka. And that's because we all noticed their first touch was poor. Yes, because we were just lumping it and get going with it. That's why Haaland was coming so deep. I watched it back this morning. Haaland's coming so deep to collect the ball.
Okay. He was back in the 6th position, and Cherky was between the centre backs. Or
yeah,
right back.
Cherky's dropping all the way back. Haaland's having to come because we're just knocking. And someone made a great point in a space did last night, and he said the trouble is we're doing that sometimes. I think it was Spartacus. When you knock the ball that far, that quick, you're giving the opposition a high chance of turning it back over for you. Now, people are going about the high line. The first goal, was it high line? Was that a high line for the first goal, or was that just he pushed out and John Stones was onside?
Oh, it was just a bad offside trap. It was what we executed perfectly against Wolves.
That wasn't a high line.
Quite perfect.
They weren't stood at the halfway line and the ball goes over. That's a high line. Guys, they're allowed to be at the edge of the box, and that's not a high line. Because there was still loads to do to it. It was a great takedown. The ball across was great. And I'll be honest with you, I thought John Stones was the one who was poor for it. But John Stones didn't step up. Now, last week it worked. This week it didn't. And I'll be honest with you, my biggest issue yesterday is why didn't he start Bernardo Silva?
Yeah, that was a strange one.
Was exposed all on his own yesterday.
Yeah, I actually thought, I was saying to Ed earlier that Nico G's taken all the flack from
Oh yeah, I
fans.
forgot that. Yeah, John Stones did slip.
But I thought that Nico was better than Reinders or Cherky. I thought he tried. I just think he was like the last man at the Alamo, and when people were passing out to try and build from the back,
Camera's gone off. One sec.
Passing it to the wrong bloody side of him. So he's got no way to get the ball and take it.
Yeah, I mean, like the chat just said, the comment in the chat just said, it does show that Nico G isn't a lone six, and that's kind of what we were having him play as last night. I mean, the other day, and he wasn't able. He's not a lone six. So without that support, it kind of is asking a lot from a player who's not a lone six.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't the game for it. And that's why you do need a Bernardo, like I said earlier, to drop deep and help him out. Because Reinders doesn't like duels. So you kind of, Turkey doesn't like probably duels to get stuck in there. So you do need a Bernardo type that will get stuck in, that will throw his body around,
Yeah. And you saw a couple of times with Reinders actually that, I mean, absolutely unbelievable the week before, but a couple of times against Spurs, he just got bounced off the ball by players stronger than him, just bounced him off. And, physically, I think it was a bit of a shock to him at times. I think that's probably, Reinders just will need to get used to that physicality in the Prem, just not necessarily strengthen up too much physically, but strengthen up in how he's going to get hit, how he's going to get bounced. Because I think that put him off his game. I can't remember whether it was Palhinha or Bentancur, but twice early on, just like bang, and he just got thrown about a metre.
But what did you think about Haaland? I know Martin was kind of going into that.
I don't know. I mean, Haaland was interesting in that. He just never got he never got given the ball in a way, that gave him a chance to do anything. I mean, we never built properly up.
Well, he did have the header, right? Like he did have the header.
Yeah, he had the header. Well, and that's 2 headers in 2 weeks that he's just got. I think probably jumped fractionally too early or fractionally too late. So he's missed 2 sitters from about 4 meters in 2 weeks. So he should definitely be on extra training, pinging the crosses in, because, they were two goals he should have absolutely scored. And one of them could have made a big difference against Spurs had he scored that. Obviously, against Wolves, it didn't matter. So we need to get that right, because what we don't want is Haaland missing a header like that against Real Madrid. But generally, I just felt Haaland was having to try and come almost back to where the 6 should be to try and get the ball. And if he's getting the ball there, well, what's he going to do? I mean, run the length of the pitch and score. And with Cherky and Marmoush back with him a lot of the time, then there wasn't anywhere, even if he got the ball, there wasn't anywhere for him to go apart from just run straight through the middle. And so I don't know. I felt it was almost like Haaland didn't know what the rest of the team was doing, didn't know where he was supposed to come and get it. So I don't know. I
would have not find it. Right, go.
Yeah, I find it hard, Ed. I find it hard to scapegoat any of the players, because if ever there was a collective failure,
so whose fault was it, Rich? Then if you're not scapegoating the players, whose fault is it?
Whose fault is it? If it's,
because I do blame the players yesterday.
Well, I just don't think the players are ready. I'll blame Gianni Infantino. I just think our players are not ready.
Rich, you need to come
We're
off
not
that.
ready.
You can't do that. In the same way,
that case, it's the coaching team's fault for not anticipating what Frank was going to do and not giving the players a game plan that they can execute this early, because the team was not ready to execute the way they were playing. So either you blame the team, and I think that's unfair on the players because I don't think they've had enough time to learn a completely new style of football, to play a team, 8 games ahead in a season. So you've got to blame the coach and the setup for not coming up with a more conservative game plan and anticipating what Frank was going to do. Or you just say credit to Thomas Frank, credit to Spurs. They put one over us and, we accept it, but we can't do that because next week Brighton are going to try and do something similar to us. So we've got to figure out how to get some results whilst we change the way we play, and not risk falling behind because we're trying to change too much too quickly.
I'd start coming away from Rodrygo, guys. Start coming away from Rodrygo.
I've heard this great winger at Everton, man of the match yesterday.
People said, again, I'm going to ask a question. What do people want? What style of play do people want? Because my issue is we play slow pedestrian, fans moan. We play quick, long transitions, and we're moaning. What is it they want? Or do we just don't know what we want? Are we just all a bit of a confused bunch right now?
They just want wins that look brilliant,
But you're not going to get 38.
And they don't want to wait 3 months to get that. That's the thing. They want us playing either way perfectly, but it's going to take time.
I agree with that. I think the team were too overeager.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to execute things too. They weren't ready.
They were trying too hard, too quick. I mean, even when I look at that chance that Mamouche had, now I call it an half chance because of the angle he was at. So the ball comes over, punted up, yeah?
Yeah.
Haaland does a kind of flick on because he doesn't get a full old connection on it, but it breaks to Mamouche. Mamouche gets on it around the keeper and misses by that much. Yeah. That was, 3 moves? 3 moves? And we were in. And then look at the other one. Haaland has to come back, get the one from the halfway line, nearly, and he carries the ball forward, takes on 2 or 3 men, threads the ball through to Mamouche. Mamouche, some will say, should have scored it. I think Vicario was out like a whippet and was on top of him. I think
that was a bloody good save. That
it was a very good goalkeeping, and also it was poor. Some will say poor finish from Mamouche. Depends whether you want to say it's a good save, but Vicario was on him like that. Other than that, I don't think we really had. Other than the Haaland header, and I think the really only next chance we really had was the Rodri header when he came on, which again I don't class as a full chance because it was a bit of a weak header that I would expect nearly every goalie in the world.
And we had a huge missed opportunity when Bob took it off of their defender inside the box, and Haaland tried to square the turkey. That was a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah, but again, is that good defending? See, Tottenham will call it good defending. We call it slight. This is where we're at, you see, with that. Some will say good defending. Some will say poor from that. So it is what it is. But see, man, you're saying something different. Do you not think you got something different yesterday? Because that was it. Someone needs to tell me, Ed, how was that the same as last season? In any way?
It was nothing like it. I mean, we didn't get the chance to pass the ball horizontally across their box because we didn't get the ball there most of the time. It was nothing like last season. And a lot more of the game was played in our quarter than any of their games in the second half of last season.
I think the main, like, it wasn't like Tottenham was like driving through our midfield, because that's what was happening last season. It was more about, because I really don't think they had like that many chances themselves either. But I thought they did a really good job of just making us turn the ball over, and also at times when Kudos, you know, got in behind a couple of times. But on their chance, right? Like if we're defending properly, like it wasn't like people was out of positions. You know, we're just calling spade a spade. Rico Lewis lost his man at the back post, and unfortunately, he doesn't have enough pace at times to recover in those type of situations. So, it was more mental lapses than anything that really cost us this game.
Sam, let's go back to me, keep the ball out of the net, and that's why we're after Donnarumma. Yeah, I do think Donnarumma will happen. Things that's I don't think Rodrygo will.
He was fuming coming off tonight, Martin.
Pardon?
He was fuming when he got subbed off.
But there was reports coming out tonight. Madrid don't want to sell him now.
Well, the thing is, Madrid won't want to sell him unless they're using the money to buy the player that they want. And the truth is, if they can't get the player they want, they won't want to sell him. I mean, it's ultimately it all has to happen. It can happen quickly if everyone wants it to happen, but it's like, a house chain. We only want Rodrygo if Xavier is going. Madrid only want to sell Rodrygo if they're getting in. I don't know who it is that, there's a lot of talk. It's Wharton or whoever else. If they can get the player they want. But no one wants to be stuck with the money and no player. I mean, Levy might, but he's at the end of the chain where that's not an option. So, it gets harder because, there's 3 negotiations happening. And, who knows? There's probably a 4th negotiation because whoever Real Madrid want, if they go and spend 80, 90 million on a player, you can guarantee that team is going to want to go and spend that on 2 or 3 other players anyway. So
that wasn't really a chance. I think my view of a chance and other people's view of Foden's wasn't really a chance. Yeah, again, that's what I mean. That's a Van de Ven good block. I call that good defending more than a chance.
Yeah, that was half a second from a goal, but the defender got back.
So good defending. This is
you
know what we are as a fan base. We don't like to give opposition any kind of credit at all. Yeah. We don't want to give any credit to the opposition.
No, that was good defense. That was a good cross.
Listen, I was angry yesterday, Rich.
And Foden was on it. Yeah,
well, I've got more angry today. Not because of the game anymore, but because of the overreaction. The baby's gone out with the bathwater again.
Yeah. I had at least a little bit of entertainment, to at least we could wind Alan up. Because Alan was having, the opposite meltdown that Alan normally has, because Alan was vigorously defending the players.
You can have an opinion, mate, but don't come in there being disrespectful, mate. My opinion is as valuable as your opinion, mate. It's not excuses.
Amar, let's be clear. Marmoush had two choices. He could hit it hard, trying to get it to the side of the keeper, which is what it looked like he did, or he could try and dink it over the keeper if the keeper's rushing out.
Yeah, he could have dinked it. The keeper was on him.
Yeah, and I think he went for the bit more pace, and the keeper got out brilliant. And the keeper guessed what he was going to do and stopped it. Had the keeper stayed back and he tried to dink it, then he looked even sillier.
Let's get on to the elephant in the room. I'm not calling him an elephant. James Trafford. Alan's dealing with his dad. That's why he's not. I personally think James Trafford was trying to over-impress yesterday. He was taking risks he didn't need to do. You could see the back line was nervous as hell with him behind.
Yeah.
because they've had 9 years of dealing with Edison, and they've got this brand new keeper who's, granted, young lad, come out from the academy, I know that, but some of them are still a bit nervous. And I just got the impression he was just trying a bit too hard, and he was making errors. You know, I thought, you know, he can pass the ball. He knocked that one long for Haaland, like I said. He was passing out. Thought he was passing out in the wrong areas, though. He can pass. I just think he was making the wrong choices where to pass to. He was making risky passes that didn't need to be made. When sometimes,
I think sometimes as well, yeah,
a good old hoof up the field would just do, if that makes sense.
But sometimes he was also executing the passes slightly to the wrong side of the player. Like I felt with the goal, yeah, he went to the wrong side. Was it Nico G? Went to the wrong side of him. Edison, you could have done that pass and then got the ball straight back, or the ball gone right, but he passed it the wrong side, and so it was trying hard passes and then just not quite executing them perfectly, because Edison tries those stupid passes, but he hits them perfectly.
See, I don't think it was the same as last season. Last season, I thought we played better in the game, even though the scoreline was worse. Because for the first 30 minutes of last season's game, we should have been 3-0 up. This one, I think we could have been playing till now and not scored. I'm going to say it because I know I'm going to get killed for this. I know well because I told you I'm not playing FC. I think there was too much inexperience out on that field yesterday. And some players are not ready.
And not enough leadership, Martin. I think that was...
Well, that was my other
point. For me, that was the thing. There's no leader out there.
Hang on, Rich. I've no problem with Nico starting, but play Bernardo with him. When Bernardo was with Nico G last week, it worked. So it worked like a T. So what you do is remove the safety net. People aren't going to like this. Nico G is not a good number 6.
No, it's a 6/8. Probably more of an 8, but
and that's the problem. I just think it was lacking too much inexperience, and I think we were just a little bit naive or a little bit soft in places. But I suppose, you know, when you look at who we're losing this summer, the unks, and I hate that word, or the older people, the experience, who is going to be the leaders then? Who is going to pick them up? What we needed yesterday was somebody on the pitch to grab the ball in the midfield for 5 minutes and spray it around and play boring football just for 5 minutes to take the sting out of the game. But every time we got the ball, it was like it's like Pepper. I felt like Pep had a speed clock on him going, go, get the ball there, right, go. Oh, that's too slow, go again. Because I don't know if anyone noticed yesterday, you had Pep Linders, Cola Toure, and Pep Guardiola all screaming at the players on the touchline at the same time. How's that going to help anybody? It was very confusing yesterday, and I don't think we played well. That's just my honest thing. Am I chucking the baby out with the bathwater? No. Do I want Pep sacked? No. Because Pep's done everything that's been asked. He's changed tactics. He's changed the style of play. He's changed his backroom staff. And he got rid of all the older players. We're not going to win 38 out of 38. It is what it is. But I do worry. I'm not sure now. With that team, it gets any injuries. I'm not sure if it's experienced enough to go in a title race. And I hope I'm wrong.
Well, it also depends, Martin, what happens this next week. Because, you know, you saw that team and you think that says Gundogan's definitely going. You know, if
Gundogan's going, Kanji's going.
Yeah.
Kovacic is likely to be gone.
That's the plan now, but they don't have to sign that. That's the thing; they don't have to go. That it has to be the right
2 to 3
option.
weeks. Ait-Nouri.
So and I just think, and we have got a lot of experience that can come into that team. We could have started with Foden, we could have started with Bernardo. In a couple of weeks, Rodri's going to be back. Ultimately, we've got Kovacic is going to be coming back. So we have got a lot of experience we can bring in to the side to beef that up. And in a way, what was disappointing on the leadership was it was almost like we didn't have it in midfield, and we didn't get from either the defenders, from Stones and Diaz, or from Haaland, who's one of the captaincy team. None of them seemed to take ownership and get the team to change. We seemed to just leave it to the midfield, and we kept losing it.
No, I think he's playing hands flick. Yes and no. I think what you saw yesterday was a very big influence from Pep Reinders. Ed, what do you think? Because when I was watching that, I said I thought I can see Pep Reinders all over this.
I don't know. It's hard to tell because nobody played well. You couldn't really see the game plan really, because every time we got an opportunity to break out or to have a good opportunity, it was a misplaced pass. It was us dribbling out of the field, right? So it's kind of hard to say that Pep Linders is taking over the philosophy of our team, but I just think like we said throughout the show, that there was a lot of inexperience out there. This was our first big test of the season, and it showed that some of our leaders who's able to take at some adversity, take some hardship in the game, and respond weren't in.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, is Pep now certain where, is he still tinkering, or does he know exactly how he wants us to play? And if he knows,
I think he's still tinkering.
Yeah, because for me, there's three things that happen now. One, we get pragmatic and just focus on the short term, and that means playing more pragmatic football and being conservative. Two, we know where we're going and we just go for it. And a bit like when we had Bravo, and we'd have a bad game, we'd have mistakes, but Pep knew what he wanted us to do, and we were just moving in that direction regardless. And three is, that third one, which is we don't quite know where we're going, and we're just going to see a side that tinkers a bit, a few changes to the way we play, and we ease our way in. But I think either way, we're going to see ups and downs till after Christmas, because if we're changing and we're bringing in all these new players, they're going to need time. They're going to need to learn how to do it. They're going to need to improve. So I think we're going to see we'll probably see a few storming performances like we did against Wolves, but we'll probably see a few games like Spurs, because it's not going to happen. Nothing like that.
This is what fears me, Rich. I hate this football. This is what I hate, and this is why I don't want 1 week brilliant, next week shit.
But there's
you need consistency. You don't win a title.
You do, but you can't. But you cannot change the way. The only way we win the title is if we play 90% the same as last year, and we change very little. If we want to be consistent,
that's all right. See, Rich,
if we want to change,
this is what I'm asking for. I want to be controlled, but just do it quicker. I don't want. That was like Mario Kart yesterday. Go, go, go! It's like I felt like they were racing each other the way they were knocking. By the way, my gut feeling on Rodrygo isn't what it is going to happen. That's my gut feeling. I felt like we were playing ourselves. Cherka was all over the shop. At one point, he stood in the middle with his hands on his hips. What's that about? Oscar Bob, great debut against Wolves. His full debut, I thought, in the Premier League. I thought, great, here we go. And I don't think he was that great. He was the best of a bad bunch, and I don't mean that in any.
He was probably our best player, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but that's
half
not an
as good as
accolade on yesterday, Rich.
No.
I thought Trafford, to be honest, he had a nightmare. Rico Lewis, nightmare. Nico G is not a 6 as long as I've got a hole in my arse. And the news I got today is I don't think Pep's fancying him as a 6 for much longer.
Well, I don't think he does. The
trouble is, Rich, if a footballer needs a babysitter with him every time he's in a position, we have got a problem.
You know what worried me most though about Trafford. And this isn't about Trafford himself. It looked to me that the defence were absolutely crapping themselves when.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, but that is not good. We've got Diaz and Stones are experienced leaders. Now we needed them to give Trafford confidence. That defence, a goalkeeper who's getting that pressure put on them of a team not having trust. That's probably why Trafford made a big factor in why a young kid makes mistakes is if the people around him are showing they've got no confidence, and that to me was I didn't see any player really, putting their hand on his shoulder, and I would have expected this from Diaz and Stones, and I reckon maybe Bernardo was the man to have done it, to actually just stop him and calm him down, tell him to do things a bit more simply, and actually tell the defenders to show some confidence in him. Because if people don't have confidence in you, how can you have confidence if the people around you don't have confidence in you? I don't think you can. So I think yes, Trafford overtried. Yes, he made mistakes. Yes, he was worrying, but I think the players have to take some responsibility for that because it's their job.
The players were poor yesterday, Rich.
Yeah, but I'm talking about them as leaders. I'm saying that Stones and Diaz should have stepped up and calmed Trafford down, calmed the defence down, and actually, given him the chance to get a bit of confidence. And none of them did. And that's what irked me most about Bernardo not playing. Is that I actually think Bernardo might have actually noticed what was going on and gone and tried to calm things down. He might have come back.
Sorry, these super chats have been here for ages, and I apologise. Lee Gates, thank you very much for your kind £5, my friend. Lineup looked good, but we seemed unbalanced. Spot on. Spurs pressed us and bullied us at times. We will get better, and I'm sure we are better than this. Spot on. We were too frantic and physically weak, not slow. I would agree with that, yeah. Thank you. Citizen, go and give that my lifetime a lot of love. Membership for 14th month. Big up, mate. And you know what that means. Ed's got off camera is what that means.
I'm emotional. I mean, this is a dream come true. All these guys deserve. All these guys around here.
Outdoor Bench, thank you very much for your continued generosity, mate, and your continued support for the channel. No ball playing goalkeeper and 0 fullbacks didn't help. Yeah, I want to talk about the Ait-Nouri injury in a minute, Rich and Ed. And Amar again, thank you very much for the £2. I blame Pep. The buck stops with him and him only. I think we've gathered, Amar, you're not a Pep fan. I think we've gathered you're not a Pep fan now, Amar, but thank you. Totally disagree with you. But thank you anyway. But I do disagree with you on that one. But really do appreciate that. Right, Ed, Rich, did things change when Ait-Nouri came off injured?
Do you know, I thought our best period of the game was probably the first 15 minutes or whatever. So maybe they did, but I don't think the game, to me, apart from City starting well, after that, I didn't see it change that much, no. I didn't think, apart from that first 15, 20 minutes, I thought once we went behind, we did look a bit in disarray. So no, I didn't think that changed the game. Although we did start well, so maybe we would have recovered better without that.
Ed?
For me, it kind of did just because, like, with our build up play at times, Nori, he's good on the ball underneath pressure. I think that would have helped us in build up, and also he was kind of asking Ake when he came on to do the same thing Nori was doing with inverting. So we all know that Nori is more comfortable in those positions, especially when it comes to like us pressing and trying to get the ball, win the ball back. So I think losing Nori at that point did have an impact on us, but it wasn't to the degree of which why we lost.
Yeah, and the reason I think it, when I was thinking about it, watching it back, we lost a double inverted. This is exactly Matthew. You're reading my mind today. We lost a double inverted fullback, and that system we play is for that system. And Nathan Aki can't do it. It should be able to. Why didn't Kushinov come on? Because Kushinov can't do that either. You haven't got the only person who could have done that. What Ait-Nouri was doing was Gavardiol, and he was injured.
Yeah. Or the only other one you could have done is take off Lewis, change both, and move. Bring Kuznov on at centre back and Stones go to the right.
Or Nunes.
Yeah. Although then, I suppose then it would have made no difference because Stones would have just been. You'd have had to have moved Lewis to left back or something to do that.
I know, Matt. I know you just came across that way, and I know you're angry, and it's emotional. I get it. I know people are angry. Why is Trafford playing passes like that in the 6 yard? It's because that's the coaching. Can't think of any reason why Goalkeeper would do that other than brain death. Well, that's what Xabi does want from his goal, is yes. Now, whether that will change, obviously, if Donnarumma comes in, we'll see. People that like Tottenham outclassed us. Was the other thing. I don't think Tottenham were that amazing yesterday. People were talking about Tottenham as though they were title contenders yesterday. Tottenham always start the season well. It's October they fall off. Tony Adams, I mean, I have no idea, Thunder Road. No idea, mate. Right. One thing I do want to bring up. Bit sad. Did you see this yesterday?
Did they have the new scanners on or something?
Mm-hmm. And then sadly, I'm going to share this with you all, which is very sad. This is where it came from yesterday. Where is it? Mark Weaver. Here it is. I didn't get in the ground for the first time in 60 years. I told stewards I couldn't possibly stand in a queue for a long time due to recovering from shingles, which is my issue, which is why I go in the disabled, because I can't stand in queues for long periods. He tried his best in his walkie-talkie. His boss said, tough. I just went home, not moaning. That's life. There you go. That was what was going on yesterday. At the end of the game as well yesterday, there was a massive, it all kicked off coming out the ground between stewards, and the way some of the stewards were speaking towards the City fans yesterday was pretty disgusting. I was quite shocked at the way the stewards were speaking to people. One steward, the young couple yesterday, and I quote, shut the fuck up and wait. That's how the City fans are being spoken to now in the stadium by stewards. Because normally, in the 88th minute, they open the fire doors. They're on an automatic thing. It was like the 90th minute and all the doors were locked still and they wouldn't let anyone out. And yeah, it got pretty nasty. So, Nick, yeah, absolutely. 1894 won the club on Thursday. We'd have issues, and boy, we did. I think it's just the way that we've been spoken to. I've never heard a steward tell any City fan, shut the fuck up and wait, basically.
Yeah. You'd occasionally get that at away matches, usually in the Midlands.
They weren't prepared, Rich. They were not prepared.
To do that to your own fans is just, yeah. I mean, it's also bloody stupid of them as well, because if you want trouble, you know, talking to people like that is going to lead to it.
Yeah. Well, Cameron, you can maybe let us know. Obviously, you can email us if you want. You don't have to do it on camera, because I don't want you to lose your name. Right, you lose your job in that. But if you want to email us, let us know what you're hearing in that. That'd be good. We'll let it all know. Don't worry. But up to you. It's because stewards aren't trained properly. Well, that's why I was going to speak about Cameron speaks to us privately. Our squad looked devoid of something that defines a fair influence. Yeah, I agree with that. Take care, Steve. Take care, mate. Have a good one. I worked with Cameron. He's a good lad. First home game back. Yeah, there's no excuses, though, Yusuf. There's been problems all last season. And it's not, and by the way, you can't, this is not a Caldoon issue. Steward, I've had problems with stewards for years, but I have problem with the parking ones. Is it SCP? Nick, is it SCP we do outside in the ground? I think it's SCP. They're the third-party company. They're not actual City stewards. The City stewards actually have City badge on their high vis coat. The other ones, I think, is SCP that they have. It's not G4S. It's SCP, I believe. So, yeah, not great. The new stand will be ready for January, February.
Wow. So 6 months early. Because originally
no,
it wasn't going to be August.
I
was it? I was thought it was ready for
right. Takeaways from yesterday then, because it was a shit show. It was poor. It is what it is. I think we just got to be. The one thing I would say is we've got to be calm. Some of the stuff I've seen today, I get people are angry. I know. Have your opinions as you want, but some of the stuff that's coming out in a minute, I don't know. We've started World War IV again. Crazy.
I mean, I think you know, if we want the younger players and we want to change the generation,
It's going to take time.
Then we have to say we've got to accept that they aren't going to be playing like because what the trouble is, what people want now is that we're playing every game like we did against Real Madrid in the semi-final in 23, where we reached the peak of, you know, for me that was about the peak of of any game we've played. And the trouble is, people have seen that and they now want that every game. But if we're changing generation of players, and you know, we have to accept they might never get to that level, because they might, you know, this generation of players might not be as good as the last generation. You know, we had De Bruyne and Gundogan and, you know, Prime Edison, you know, Prime Stones, all those players. We had genuinely world-class players across the pitch who are generational players at City. And if we want to get back there, we're going to have to be patient, and we're going to have to accept that we may not be able to get back there. But this kind of melting down, it's just ridiculous. Football's there to enjoy. And if you're having mass hysteria and, you know, being as dramatic and everything as some of the fans are, like, I just don't know how they live in life, because they're going to work and have a bad day at work. They must have to jack the job in. You know, if they're, you know, doing something that takes 3 years, they must give up because you haven't got the patience to wait till the next day. I mean, it takes time. Just let it happen. Let it happen and have a bit of patience.
Ed?
It's game week 2. I mean, we're trying to implement a new system. I just think that, you know, it's going to come with some, you know, not so good moments when you are trying to learn a whole new system. When we are trying to, you know, we're talking about bringing in maybe even more players on top of that. So people are going to need to gel with each other to learn how each other play. So, you know, like I said, this is an opportunity for us to grow from this experience, and hopefully against Brighton, we can see some improvements. You're on mute.
I'm on mute. Right, I'm just going to share this because everyone's asking me about Rodrygo. This is because some people only believe Fabrizio. So there you go.
Is that for Man City, the only my feeling is that for Man City, the only way to open doors for Savio to go is if they find the right replacement. And the player they want remains Rodrygo from Real Madrid, but Rodrygo is very expensive, more than 100 million euros. Rodrygo has a big salary. Rodrygo is very happy at Real Madrid. So it's a deal to build the one for Rodrygo. I always told you about Man City wanting Rodrygo, but you have to build that one. I mean, build in the sense of salary, player convincement, also the fee for Real Madrid. So it's not something you close in 24 hours. So it's going to be really important to see what happens there. Then,
there you go. And this is what I'm saying. There's this belief at the minute. Oh, hang on. Let me stop sharing that. There's this belief at the minute that everyone thinks Rodrygo's on a flight out to Manchester. Really not.
No, still has to be done. Still has to be negotiations.
Do you know all this? He's throwing a pad at. He's still not even told Madrid he wants to go yet. And like for it, I said this last week, didn't I? This is not a deal you can close in 2-3 days. It's not. That's why I don't think it happens. Because if Real Madrid said, no, we don't want to sell, you've no time to change anything. It is what it is. And that's come out from Fabrizio and Guillaume Balaguer tonight. Is Rodrygo does not want to leave. Let's see who's hanging on to this present in a minute. They're all saying, when he wanted to come.
No, I mean, you never know, Martin. Like you said.
Jacob has said it, Bob on for weeks. People have twerked and shown their rear ends for a Real Madrid player.
But we all know in the transfer window, Martin, anything can change any day.
Ed's loving it. Ed's like, no.
And he can go into Madrid tomorrow and tell them I want to leave.
Do you know what we need with Ed now? Has anyone seen Dumb and Dumber? So you're saying there's a chance. It's about 1%.
Oh,
yeah, spot on. It is the nastiness. He's got too nasty. By the way, did you see Kyle Walker's comments?
No.
Yeah, I saw the comments.
No, I haven't seen Kyle Walker's comments.
One of the main reasons he left is because of the fan abuse he got. Martin, do I think Nico G will be sold if Pep doesn't fancy him? Yes. I do. Why didn't O'Reilly come on where? Left back, you mean, or midfield? I would have had him in midfield. Still would have
I think we used all our subs though, and we used them on dealing with the injury and bringing on experience, didn't we? So I don't think we had any subs left. We did all 5, didn't we?
Made subs quite early. It is. But yeah, so I think for me, yesterday was poor. Let's see next week against Brighton. Let's hopefully, because if we beat Brighton, then it's 2 out of 3. Like I said, let's just get to international break and see where we're at. There's still a lot of things. I think there's a lot of baby out with the bathwater at the minute. Yesterday was piss poor. Do not get me wrong. I agree. It was piss poor. Pep made errors and the players made errors. We were poor. But let's just, all calm down a bit. I mean, I think the defeat came at the worst time. Anyway, right, let's anything else you want to add? Because we will do a space. People have called me out, Ed, so I've invited them to a space.
Called you out about what?
Got people like Prophet going, Martin's going to say this, Martin's going to say that. Let's say if you're as brave as your gob runs.
But do we think that Rock? Let me ask you guys this.
Meant to be Rocky music. Get it?
What do you guys think that Rodri plays more against Brighton?
I think Rodri starts against Brighton.
Yeah. Do you know why I think he has to start against Brighton?
Ed's doing that now. Ed's doing that now. He's like, no.
Let's be honest. We want, if Rodri doesn't start against Brighton, can we then start him in the big games after the international break? I think he almost has to start against Brighton. You do know
Spain have called him up, don't you?
Yeah. So I think...
It doesn't mean he has to play, though.
Yeah, but,
doesn't mean Ed, we get no choice in that, though.
I think there's a couple of things on...
There's a couple of things. They're not going to play him.
There's a couple of things on...
It's like proper living on a prairie. Ed, what's going on here?
Like, I think people are being overly
naive,
worried on Rodri.
I think people call it up and not play much.
Ed, our physios and our doctors cleared his ACL in May. He played football at the end of last season in May. His injury was fully cleared. Yes, he hasn't got up to full fitness and everything, but the actual injury has been cleared for, I think, best part of 4 months since he was cleared to be able to train fully and everything. So the only way Rodri comes back, gets back now is by game time and match fitness, because it's match fitness, not the injury that's holding him back. So he has to start, I think. And the other thing is we want him for United and Arsenal coming up pretty quick after and a couple of other hard games as well after the break. So we can't have him just go in and start against Arsenal with no football. We've got to, so I think we should be starting him next week. And I've been one about holding him back, don't use him in the World Club Championship, but I do think now's the time. He needs to start at Brighton, and we need to, and I hope we start Phil as well. I thought Phil looked quite sprightly when he came on. So I hope we bring back that little bit of, I hope at Brighton, Rodri, Reinders, Bernardo in midfield. Bring back the Unks. Probably start Foden on right wing and just bring back a bit of experience into the team and help players like Reinders, etc., come through, with a bit of experience with them. Let Cherky come off the bench and be wonderful for half an hour every game until we get that rhythm back in the team.
Right, there's the email, Cameron. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm not interacting with the chat as much. You can see I'm really ill at the minute. My eyes are infected like bugger. I've got to go to the doctors. I'm not well. My camera's disconnected away. My Wi-Fi wouldn't plug in. I just think the world didn't want me to go on this stream today. We may not be back tomorrow because I'm still like this. I'm not coming on camera. Look at my eyes. I'm not sure this is hay fever or an infection.
Have you taken antihistamines? And it looks like hay fever, but trouble is you get hay fever, then you rub your eyes, you get an infection as well, and you don't.
That's what I mean. I don't know if it's that, and I've caused the infection myself.
Yeah,
but I'm going to get some doctors. We'll be back. There'll be nothing on Tuesday because I'm at the game. If anyone does not know, there are still tickets available. City Birds Soldham Athletic in the virtual trophy EFL Northern Group E. We're going old school Tuesday night blues. City and Boundary Park. We're going old school. I'll be there Tuesday night, 7 p.m. kickoff, Boundary Park. Come and give us a shout. Yeah, really good. By the way, whoever did, someone passed me yesterday and went, lovely to see you in person. Please stop. Let me know who you are. I want to say hello to you. I just went, all right, thanks. Just come and say hello. I want to meet you. Buy you a bever.
So wait, Martin, let me ask you this before we go.
Oh, go on.
For the audience here, because we still have 172 people in the building.
Oh, go on. Got a super chat as well. Big up, Ben Outdoor with the 5.
Do we think that
to fund some allergy tablets? Big up, my mate.
do we think that Savinho will not be sold?
Hope not, Pardo. Do I think he's not going to be? I don't want him sold. If we can't buy a replacement, I don't want him sold. And by the way, I'm now going to double down. You sell a Kanji, you need a replacement.
Whoa. See, the people in the chat didn't know you thought that way, Martin.
I'm doubling down on that.
Would you want somebody that can play center back and full back, or just
Yes,
center back?
we are too short. We're really too short. We need, and all I got a message yesterday is City are in for a big week.
Because
Katie can do, but you do.
Do we need a right-sided?
You
do we
do
need
know
a right-sided
Rodrygo
one
doesn't
or
want
a
to
left-sided one?
Real Madrid, don't you, Kate? That's come out from Fabrizio and Fabrizio and Game Balaguer. Rodrygo does not want to leave Madrid. He's happy there. That's what I got. You don't think I'd have dropped his name for fun, did you, yesterday, Ed?
No way. That would be.
I can't keep my eye on anyone at the moment.
That would be a heist, though, man, because he's been talking to Liverpool for a while.
Spot on. Me, Pardo, and Andrew were on the same wavelength. We want Gaya. Let's go on that Gaya train. We're driving it. Come on.
35 million? It's not a bad price.
Listen to Nurse Cafe. What's Cafe said? I do apologise, Cafe. What have you said there? What have you said? Warm salt water with saline might white each once. Thank you very much. I will do. Thank you very much, Cafe. Appreciate that. Rich, do you think we need a centre back if you sell Kanja?
Well, I think what a Kanji gives us is that ability to play right back or centre back. But I do think we need pace. I think we need a Kyle Walker replacement. Kyle Walker replacement means a right-footed, fast defender, and yes. I do think we could do with that, because I think things like Tottenham's first goal, if you have a defender with real pace at right back or right centre back, you've probably got 75% chance of stopping that goal.
Yeah,
and I do think Walker gave us that insurance, and I don't think we've had it since he dropped off. So whether it's centre back, whether it's a right back, I think we need a right-sided defender with real pace. And Gray's got real pace. He'd bring it in, but yeah.
Does he have pace though, Rich?
He's quite quick.
Cade's not get Cade. Even Fabrizio said it now, and Cade's not having it.
Yeah. Yeah, we need someone with like pace like Mickey van der Ven, but not him.
Whoa, Lee Williams. Calm down, my friend. Homegrown yet player? Yes, please, says Laura. At least he didn't mention F1. Do you know when you said gay train there, Lee? Why did Brighton away come up in my head then next week? Oh, dear. Do I think Trafford is ready to be number one? On yesterday's performance, no. But I'm not sure if yesterday's performance was because has all the Donnarumma stuff gone to his head or got in his head. I don't know. This is the problem. I think he's better than what he showed yesterday. But I'm not going to turn down a Donnarumma. Of course I'm not. No one's going to turn down a player like Donnarumma. I nearly called him Costarumma. I was in between still the two of them. What about Hushinov? Could play right back and the problem is with Hushinov, he can't play right back in the way we need him to play right back. Our right backs are designed, our full backs are designed to go up the field. Hushinov can't go up the field and overlap. That's the problem. So if you're asking me from a defensive standpoint, Hushinov would be good at right back, yes. Would he be good as an overlapping right back? Hell no.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Gahey doesn't provide you that either.
No, I want Gahey to play centre back.
Who are you going to put a right back? Stones?
Nunes.
Okay, so you want a Gahey Vario partnership or a Diaz partnership?
I want.
Rodrygo will be playing left back for the next 3 or 4 weeks anyway.
I want a defender who is going to be there when John Stones inevitably gets injured.
We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see.
Right now, Ed, we are 2 games in and we've lost Ait-Nouri for 2 to 3 weeks. Gavardio's still out. Stones is going to get injured. You've sold a Kanja. Everyone says Rico shit again. You were kind of lightweight at the back again here.
Yeah, I mean, you do have Hushinov there, right? And if you,
God. So hang on a minute. We are becoming Crush FC here with 20-year-olds.
No, but what I'm saying is if you do get a Gahey's not sitting on the bench.
Am I watching the EDS on Tuesday or City's first team?
That's all I'm saying. Gahey's not coming here to sit on the bench.
Right? He's John Stones out of a contract in a year.
Yes, but he's also talking Liverpool. Konate might be gone in a year.
Right? So if he's willing to go to Liverpool, why is he not willing to come City for the exact same problem? You just don't want Gay.
No, I would take Gahey.
I can tell you're not a Gahey fan, are you?
No, I would take Gahey. I'm just saying we haven't been linked to him at all. So it'll be. I think it'll just be a hard thing.
No, I agree with that, Thomas. Whether Pep will, because the problem is I don't think he will do that, Thomas, because of the way we're set up. I think we're set up for our fullback to be our wide man, and I don't even think that's come from Pep. There you go.
Cool. Anyway, I have to drop now, Martin.
Yeah, we're ending now anyway. Anyway, big up to everyone. We'll be back tomorrow at some point. I don't know when. I'm on Footy Judgmo at 2 p.m. for the National League. I'm going to take my licks. I will have to wear sunglasses with my eyes the way they are. But yes, if you are away for the bank holiday, have a lovely bank holiday, all. Have a great bank holiday. Have a lovely day. Rich, have a lovely time at the pool.
I will. Thank you. Paul, it's the middle of bloody winter. Well, it's sunny today for the first. Tomorrow? No, it's the middle of winter.
Get to work, you lazy bastard. Anyway,
yes, exactly.
It's bank holiday here. Have a lovely bank holiday.
I've got to go and get the kids to school. Anyway, cheerio.
Right, Ed, take care, mate. There will be a space in 30 minutes. We'll continue it there. Take care. And as always, up the Blues. 1 defeat. It was bad, but we go again. Yeah. Take care, all.